from Life in Layouts, and today I have my first layout for the mini kit Monday for September 2020, and I'm going to be using this sketchbook that I picked up from Scrapbook Generations, and I will link it down below for you guys. This sketchbook really focuses on 8 photo layouts, which I am always about getting more photos on my layouts. This is the first layout, like I said, for this kit, and I decided to use the sketch that has a lot of strips in it. And so most of these strips, I believe, are like 1.5 by 11. I started out with them being 12 inches long, and the sketch calls for them to be smaller. But what I decided to do was figure out how long my photos were going to be and then cut them based on that, because I don't end up using the sizes that the sketch calls for. So I'm really just kind of going through my photos, seeing which ones I can cut down to make them smaller, and then this is where you can see that I have that space on the right hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that down. I also realized that my photos were a little short, and so I pulled out this pink paper with the black polka dots and decided to add that to my strips of paper. The sketch also calls for 3 smaller photos, kind of in the placement where I have them there, and I do go ahead and mount those on white cardstock just to let them stand out a little bit. Now this card is the card that I wanted to use because it had that big old turtle on it, and it's hard to see, but that photo there next to the card that has the turtle on it, there's actually a big sea turtle there, and so I do use something later on to point that out. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and cut down my paper. I believe it's 10 inches on the left hand side because I have a 4x6 photo and then a 4x4 photo, and then I'm adding those 2 additional photos to the top and right. I do go ahead and also add a flip flap because I had 1 extra photo, so I have that card that I'm going to use there, and then on the back of the card will be the second photo, and then there will be a photo directly down on the layout. So I was able to cut down the photos on the right a little bit, but not as much as the 10 inches. I think it's only 11 inches on the right hand side, just because there was detail that I couldn't cut out. So I'm okay with it having more white space on the left than it is on the right. It kind of gives it a little bit of extra dimension or flavor, or whatever you want to call it. I do distress all of my edges in carved pumpkin, which is this beautiful orange color. And then I'll go ahead and adhere all of the papers down. Once I get all the papers down, I realized that the pink piece of paper that I cut, I didn't cut it the same size on the left hand side as I did the right, so I do actually end up cutting a smaller strip of paper in a black and white to cover that up. At first I tried to cut the pink paper again, and instead of wasting another sheet of the pink paper, I just decided to go ahead and use this black and white. And I really like the way that that black and white stands out against all of these bright colors, because with the pink paper with the black polka dots, it brings in that black from the stripe as well. I also decided that I wanted a strip on the far left-hand side and far right-hand side. I felt like the paper was just kind of floating off the edge, and with this teal stripe paper, it gave it a solid stopping place. And then I decided to stitch a pink line down it as well to really help emphasize that stopping point. And I just did a running stitch, so there are some white spaces there. You'll get the strip every once in a while, and I like the way that that looks. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to. I usually do the back stitch, which is a full-on strip, but this was just something a little different. So after I mount those 3 smaller photos on white cardstock, I do go ahead and put all 3 of those up on fun foam and add them around the layout, almost exactly where the sketch calls for them to be. Now, these photos are of my friend when she was involved in a turtle release. That happens quite a bit here in the state of Florida. We have sea turtles that come and lay their eggs up on the beach, and those areas are protected. So usually there's a fence around them or something around them to let people know that there are sea turtles there, and so that that area is not disturbed. Sometimes we are able to see the sea turtles once they are hatched. Sometimes we are able to kind of encourage the mommy sea turtles to come up and lay their eggs, and so I believe that's what this was going on here, was that the mom was there. So you can see there where I added that orange arrow directly to the photo of the sea turtle, just so that it really emphasizes that sea turtle there, because it is kind of hard to see with the seaweed and the beach sand down there at the bottom. So my title is going to be super long with Slow and Steady Wins the Race. I feel like that's always a great title for anything to do with turtles. So I used the water alphas to spell out the word wins and race, but I felt like it was too much of that color blue, so I went ahead and pulled out these lighter blue to spell out the word slow and steady. And of course I had to move the letters around. I really should use the wax paper trick so that I can figure things out and make things a little bit easier for me, because I do end up moving them like 3 or 4 times to make sure that I am able to fit them all the way across the layout. It was a really long title. And then I do use the pink letters that were on the alpha sticker to spell out the word and the. So here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. I am loving getting this little kit used up this month. I think that these fun, bright summer colors are perfect for these particular layouts that I'm doing. And even though this happened in December, I still feel like it is one of those layouts that could use some bright, fun colors. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.